wonderful evening here, and thank you, sir, for that very nice talk on smart cities. Quite inspiring to hear that, and there's a lot of hope for everyone who wants to start smart and new. Let me take a deep breath before I start. Okay, I'm ready now, yeah? I began this journey 40 years ago into the medical life. It's been exhilarating. The first few years were discovering the mysteries of the body and its ailments. And then, when I qualified from here, went around the world trying to learn the skills and techniques to understand what are the diseases and what are the treatment options. The skill sets which I learned across the globe, happily came back, thought I was fully equipped to do what I would love to do, and built a practice. Should say it has been a very successful career for a long time. One fine day, about 15 years ago, there was a big awakening for me. And that awakening is what I want to share with all of you today. That's when I discovered the privilege of giving. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with this. In September of 2007, I got a large post courier with the pictures of this little girl called Lakshmi with 8 limbs, born in the little village of Araria, and near Araria in a village called Rampur, in the very remote part northeast of Bihar. This came to me with a message that this little girl is struggling to survive and make it to the next day. The curiosity in me was unbound. I took that journey all the way from Bangalore to Delhi and Delhi to Bihar, Patna, and all the way when the Ganges were overflowing. It was quite an extraordinary experience even to reach that village which had no electricity, forget about medical care. When I reached their huts, as you can see, there were hordes of people, all thatched roofs. And then I met the parents. This village revered this little girl as goddess Lakshmi because she was born at the time of Deepavali. And they were not ready to let me touch, but the parents were very sure that this child wouldn't survive without medical intervention. The story was, these parents took this little girl to Delhi to a very big hospital to see if some treatment can be done, of course without any resources. And that hospital turned them down, saying it's not possible to do this. Unfortunately, the security or the guard at the gate and a few goons tried to kidnap this little child to sell it in a circus. They dodged to the middle of the night and went and hid themselves in the little village. So first thing for me was to gain the trust of these parents and the villagers. Then I invited them to come over to Bangalore. I had nothing with me in that village except my own little gut feeling that something could be done for this girl. I brought her to Bangalore. They came willingly. When they arrived, the child's hemoglobin was 5 grams per cent. The gut was infested with worms. There was a large wound which was so infected, anytime the child could become septic. From there, we built this child, prepared, investigated, and I put a whole team together of very committed and capable people who wanted to do this pro bono. And then we took this little girl to the theater. 23 hours later, we finished the surgery, and 72 hours later, you can see the happy girl with only 4 limbs in the lap of the mother. We got the global attention. We were the #1 news across the world for 48 hours. Everywhere we saw it was us. And this was a proud moment for our nation, and every Indian abroad felt proud that we could do this in our country because it was not expected for us to do because it's the first time it was ever done. This happened. What next was even more amazing. I started getting calls after calls, children after children coming to the hospital needing the difficult problems to be solved. That's when I realized most of them couldn't afford, and I was the only pediatric orthopedic surgeon around. This is when I spoke to my staff. I went and appealed to my staff, we want to do something, create a platform where I can get great skill sets of people who can come over to the platform and identify the children. Let's see how we can do it at a large scale where we can impact a larger number of people. We started this 12 years ago, and we're still counting. We do this year after year, transforming the lives of not so affordable children with life-changing surgical intervention. And these children move on and become citizens who are proud of themselves and live with self-respect. So we did with the teachers who shape our nation. They are the rural teachers with crippling arthritis. Every year we operate on 100 children and do the joint replacement surgeries free. Again, a bunch of us from across the globe do this year after year. Let me, I know these pictures are ghastly, but in this audience, I think it's okay. This little girl lost her arms in a mill, and it pulled her arms out. This looks most destructive, right? Today's science, it is possible to do this. What we did is put the arms back on her body, and this would take 16 to 18 hours for a large team of people working continuously. Every branch of it, from managing the tissues to managing the balance of fluids to everything is so important. When we do this, this is what happens. This little girl today sends a greeting card every year. This little girl has got self-beliefs and lives her life. This is what is possible by the medical science today, but not for everybody, only the ones who can afford it. Let's go to the next one. This gentleman burnt his arms and had a stump at the end of his hand. When you don't have a hand, rest is useless. The elbow and the shoulder mean nothing when you don't have a hand to do something. Is it possible to do something for this gentleman here? Yes. We took the toe, second toe from his foot, reconstructed his arm. It is a complex surgery, no doubt. And today, this man spends his time respectfully and usefully. And he is able to write and employed and leads a life where he can bring up his family. This is what is possible by today's science, but not for everybody. I was on a trip to South Africa. I stopped on the way to have a cup of coffee, and this is where I ended. If you notice, it says baker's dozen, but in the Roman letters it's written 13. I thought, silly South Africans, they made a mistake. I went inside like a smart guy. I said, you say dozen, but you've written 13. This gentleman said, you pay for 12, but I give you 13. That's what is the meaning of that. Look at the depth of this story. I went on to find out more about the baker's dozen. I jogged back my memory to when I was 14-year-old traveling in the train with my family, with my parents and my siblings in Kerala. And there was this Danish young smart man sitting in the same compartment, the reserved compartment. And a lady who didn't have reservation came in. The ticket collector was trying to throw her out. And everybody thought this lady should never have come into the reserved compartment. There was this Danish man who stood up, gave his berth to her, and walked into the general compartment and stayed there through the night. And that was lurking in my mind. And then I saw this baker's dozen. Just think about this. If each one of us can live a non-transactional life, if we can give to everybody more than what we take, we're always thinking of squeezing the most out of life. Can we give life itself a little more than what we take? May it be your spouse, may it be your children, your siblings, in your profession, your colleagues, your employer, your employee. Can you do a little more than what you are paid for? I tell you, it is the most amazing balance you can have in life. You will be the most important person around because this is an act beyond what you're paid for. This is very, very special. When you do something like this, the returns are exponential. Believe me, the reciprocity, what you get, is beyond the linear thought process. Of course, destiny doesn't sign up on a guarantee that something will come back to you, but one needs to believe in the power of emergence. Something spectacular will emerge when we did Lakshmi, something spectacular happened to us. Believe me, it'll happen every time you do something without expectation. Let's look at this. Each one of us who are listening to this can jot ourselves down to one of these quadrants. Let's say x-axis and y-axis, a platform and purpose. Let's define platform. What is a platform? Our body, our mind, our education, our net worth, our network, all these is what is our platform. By definition, platform is not the place to stay. Platform is only a platform from where you go somewhere. And where you go is your purpose. Let's talk about the quadrant which is on the left lower side, low purpose, low platform. This is an existential. I know a lot of people, I'm sure all of you know, who did their small-time education, put up a little shop, became bank employees, raised a family, good people, don't consume too much from the world, don't have high expectations. This is where majority of the world lives. Look at the quadrant, let's say the right below quadrant. Low platform but high purpose. These people have phenomenal ambition, phenomenal wantingness to do something, but they don't have a great platform. They're pretty much altruistic. They cannot scale up, but they're great people. There are a lot of sacrifices. They don't get too much from life, but they're ready to give everything. Let's talk about the left top platform, which is the high platform and low purpose. This is where most of us sitting here belong to. We have consumed so much in our life. The education, the privileges, this auditorium where we sit, what we do, what we know, what we enjoy, it is all the platform. So if you want to become impactful, the only way you can do it is move from where you are to the right top quadrant, and that is impactful living. That's the high platform and high purpose. All of us can do this. Whichever part, we can certainly do this. Let me propose this to you today. Let me propose this. I think it's extraordinary to see, if you are giving something, it's extraordinarily invigorating to see the change happen right in front of you. There are a lot of studies to show that you give money or do something to UNICEFs of the world, you don't see where it is going and what is happening. If you can see it, that invigorates you even more. I'm proposing something today which can be as simple as this. It's possible for everyone to do this because all of us have something to give. So it's encompassing. Everybody can do this. It is practical because I will tell you a way how it is practical. It is perpetual. You can keep doing it. If it is all of us can do it, and it is practical, and it is perpetual, can we not change the world? It certainly can be transformative. And that's what is my proposal for today. This is the call for action. I want each one of you to sign up for this. In the next 6 months, if each one of you can belong to one of these 3 categories, what I suggest, we could change the world. Build a talent bank. Let each one of us here, I'm proposing this for the medical science, but this could be extrapolated to any walk of life. Give 5 days of your professional time annually. I'm not asking for too much. Sacrifice 1 holiday, 5 days a year, give your talent to the platform. Create a database. If you don't have the talent which will transform somebody's life, please help create a database. Identify lives in need of medical intervention which can be transformational. Activate institutional commitment. And what I mean by that is create a platform to execute life-transforming medical interventions. People who are entrepreneurs, people who have hospitals, Rotaries and the Lions, and all these people can create platforms which will allow these talented people to give their time, and the people who need medical intervention can all come together and see how lives can change. Lastly, let me take you back to where we started. That was the 8-limbed girl, Lakshmi Tatma. And what happened 6 months after we operated on her was that she became a child who could play with the siblings and move around. Just before I came here, I called this little girl Lakshmi, and she's 18 years old today, and I called her, and this is what she's doing. The joy and the pleasure, what I have experienced by giving, is available for each one of you. Each one of you, I urge you to take that privilege of giving. It is extraordinary. It is life transforming. Lakshmi's life has changed physically. My life has changed forever. I leave you with this. The gift of life and every living moment inspires us to reach out and help. One should never consider this as an obligation, but a great opportunity to touch the lives of the people. Thank you so much.